I'm Mark Carwardine and I'm a patron of the UK charity Save the Rhino International. When it comes to rhinos, I've been very lucky. I've rubbed shoulders with these magnificent animals in many parts of the world over many years. I've also met the people who work with rhinos every day, devoting their lives to protecting them. The greatest challenge for all of us who care passionately about rhinos is a major misunderstanding about their horns. In China and Vietnam, a powder made from rhino horn is believed to be a cure for all sorts of diseases, even cancer.
Scientifically, there's no medicinal property. It's a big nail. You better just crush your hair. You know, keep cutting and crushing and eat it up. Or chew your nails, fingernails.
The horn is made out of keratin. If keratin was a cure for cancer, then doctors everywhere would be busy advising people to bite their nails. Quite rightly, a claim like that would be dismissed as ridiculous. Sadly, the mistaken belief in the Far East about rhino horn keratin is ancient and runs deep. Demand is now so high that the world is facing the biggest rhino poaching crisis for more than 15 years. Roughly one rhino is being killed every day. 95% of all the rhinos in the world have now been killed. A century ago, there were about 500,000 rhinos in the world. Today, there are fewer than 25,000. 2 subspecies have died out in the last 10 years, and there are only around 300 Sumatran rhinos left, only 45 Javan rhinos, and just 8 northern white rhinos. Just in my lifetime, we've lost so many rhinos that it's incredible they're not extinct already. But that's precisely the point, because it's not all bad news. There are things that we can all do to make a difference and reverse the situation. For instance, 100 years ago, there were just 50 to 100 southern white rhinos. Today, there are nearly 20,000. Concerned conservationists brought them back from the brink of extinction, and now we must do the same for the other 4 species. Save the Rhino is actively involved in making this happen. Tackling poaching and dealing with wider conservation issues needs a range of approaches. Save the Rhino supports anti-poaching and monitoring patrols from Kenya to South Africa and from India to Indonesia. Often in really difficult conditions for weeks at a time, these rangers literally risk their lives to protect rhinos and their habitats. But Save the Rhino's work isn't just focused on the front line. We recognise that the rhino doesn't exist in isolation. It's part of an ecosystem, and that ecosystem includes people. To this end, Save the Rhino supports field programmes that look at the whole ecosystem, tackling issues like soil degradation, water use and forest management. We look at how communities living in key rhino areas can benefit from sustainable livelihoods. Just recently, one of my fellow patrons, Martina Navratilova, together with Save the Rhino director Kathy Dean, visited Kenya to learn about the work of the Laikipia Wildlife Forum.
We flew from Nairobi to Nanyuki, which is in the Laikipia district, to see how Save the Rhino's money helps the Laikipia Wildlife Forum manage this vast area near Mount Kenya.
This is a small grassroots organisation, typical of the type of programme that Save the Rhino helps to fund.
So it was a very educational time that we spent 3 days, and Anthony King showed us around. He was the head of the Laikipia Wildlife Forum.
Let's just make the plan for the day so that we all know what's happening. Well, not the day, the next few days.
We saw rhinos, of course, in Opajeta.
Executive Director Anthony King made arrangements for Martina and Kathy to see several projects during their visit.
Save the Rhino International is one of our greatest supporters. They've been helping us with the Department of the Community Conservation and also the environmental education. And we really value their support.
The Wildlife Forum took Martina and Kathy to visit an agricultural project in the forefront of mixing economic well-being for local people with environmental protection. This nursery teaches farmers how to cultivate indigenous drought-resistant cash crops, like medicinal herbs.
This one is the aloe secundiflora, which they only use the small drop for adding into a soap, making soap.
What you realize is that the rhino is connected to where people live, because the wildlife and people are connected and interconnected, and it has to all work in harmony, and one needs to support the other.
Alternative water conserving irrigation techniques are also taught here. Low cost but highly effective drip irrigation systems use far less water than conventional sprinkler systems.
And it's very cheap because this is just a plastic jerrycan or a container. Then the water will just drip slowly the whole day. So it's a good way of conservation on water.
But this isn't just a theoretical approach. The Forum also supports farmers who want to apply the techniques in the field.
Yeah, another thing that we did was go to a meeting, which happens every 3 months, of all the leaders from the Laikipia Wildlife Forum that are heads of different projects. One has to do with water, one has to do with growing of the aloe, one has to do with growing of the bees. And they all give their little report of what's going on, and they're just trying to find solutions that will work for everybody.
The community is quite happy, and they really appreciate what's happening at the forum cycles to make sure they are supported.
So it was a great meeting, and there were also women there, which was great. And they all spoke, and were very confident and relevant, and so that was great to see, because it's an extremely male-dominated culture, but it was nice to see the women respected and having a say.
Laikipia, its people, its wildlife, its livestock, they all depend on the sustainable management of natural resources. So actually resolving all these issues, particularly water, is absolutely essential if not just the rhinos, but all the other species, all the people of Laikipia are going to survive.
The Forum runs an environmental education and literacy programme which teaches adults and school children about the interdependence of people, livestock, wildlife and ecosystems. This programme also allows school children from Laikipia to see wildlife in an environment that's often the preserve of rich tourists.
We were on a bus with a whole bunch of school kids where they showed them the wild animals. Most of them had never seen these animals, and of course the next generation is crucial in the ability to save all these species. So it's all connected, you can't just be like this and do one thing and say, oh, I'm just going to do this, and everybody has to take care of themselves.
It's an holistic approach. The ongoing threat to rhinos needs a coordinated global response. Save the Rhino works closely with several international partners, including Chester Zoo and many other European zoos, the International Rhino Foundation, the US Fish and Wildlife Service, the African and Asian rhino specialist groups, and many other partners and donors. Working with all these partners, Save the Rhino fundraises for and makes grants to over 15 field programmes around the world. Save the Rhino shares information and experience about what works and what doesn't work. Save the Rhino is one of my favourite conservation groups. It's a small charity and it's specialised. It has a good team in the office and a great range of active supporters. They know what they need to do, and working against the odds, they get it done. I can't stress enough how serious the situation is for the world's rhinos. If you had to pick one conservation priority at the moment, it's got to be rhinos. So please visit our website at www.savetherhino.org for information on how to get involved. Thank you.